Oh, also I got well, I guess I'll wait for the stream to start now that I've started it. Bloop bloop bloop. We're live. Whoa.
Oh,
We're doing
whoa.
it. Oh wow. Hello. Yeah, okay. So, I guess while people are getting in here, earlier this week I had I can't remember what day it was, but I had someone that I actually like I recognized their username like comment on my pet peeves video, which I thought was pretty neat. Because it's like it's not like someone I'm a big fan of or whatever, but she's got nice art and she has a video that I'll like watch in the background or whatever.
Oh,
And
who is it?
I'm gonna butcher this. Absently, I think is how you say it. I have no idea.
Oh, I don't know them. Sad
They
face.
have cute art, and they did. There's a video of that, which I'm actually going to talk about in a second because I think this is a fun topic.
Are you streaming right now? Are you
Yes,
live?
I am.
I'm literally on your channel. It is not showing up.
Well, there's people watching it, so you're probably just gonna have to give it a minute because YouTube's kind of a butt.
Like, I had to go to videos. It was not showing up on your homepage.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. So, because I was looking for the chat, so I can look at the chat. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So they commented, and that was pretty cool. And but it's funny because like YouTube Studio will do a thing on your phone where it's like if somebody I don't know what the rule is supposed to be. I guess it's just people with like either I'm gonna probably guess either a decent amount of subscribers or like more than you. But if like somebody like that comments on your video, it'll put it in a separate notification area as like a bonus just to make sure you know that you got it. Like I
Look, you pleb, you've been noticed.
hang on. Still sleeping.
Also, sorry if I sound like I'm underwater, guys. It's hot, and I need to have my air conditioning on.
Yeah, but
It is not a good sign. It's only spring, and we're already having to put the AC on. It is not a good sign.
yeah. So anyway, they but like there's like a little thing basically it's like you have it open on your phone, and usually to see comments you have to like either click on a specific video and scroll down, or you scroll down and it will do it in like a order of like you know most recent basically. But if you get someone, I guess again, I don't know if it's people with more subscribers than you or just like a decent amount of subscribers. But it'll like just up in the top corner, there'll be like a little notification area and it will let you know that they commented. And I'm just like, okay.
Yay, I feel special.
Oh, is it? Wait, did the stream freeze?
I don't think so. I mean, hold on.
I can't. Some people said that there's like two people said the stream froze.
No, I went live and I can hear us talking.
Huh. I don't know.
Yeah,
Might just be a little bit of lag.
It's working on my end. Try refreshing if it froze, because I mean I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Might have just been a little bit of lag, but anyway, so that was interesting. But there's a video because now I'm gonna get into an actual like conversation topic. Because
Ooh.
one of the video they have that I really like.
Sorry.
There needs to be a word to say when someone hiccups, like some kind of word, like
I'm
the same with like
sorry,
bless you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like they have a video because they did like again like a lot of people on YouTube have art style challenges or whatever, and they have one too. But I actually really like theirs for two reasons. One, because they actually have a little bit of commentary about like their thought process or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
or like just about the artist specifically, which I just kind of like because I feel like it's a little bit more insightful. And then two, they actually like try and replicate the styles and they break down and analyze them and all that. Unlike,
that sounds really cool for doing that.
yeah, well, because I only say that because I know there's a lot of like YouTube art style challenges I've seen where it doesn't really seem like they try that hard.
Yeah, no.
Again,
they tend
like
to
not aimed at anyone specifically, chat. Just so you know.
No, I've noticed that too. A lot of people, because like I've wanted to do one, but I want to do one with people who have vastly different styles than me.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because I have seen people do it where it's like all in the same ballpark. Where it sounds bad, I'll look at some of them and I'm like, I recognize like two people's styles out of this bunch.
Yeah. Well, like, I've seen it where it's also interesting, too, because I feel like a lot of people go with pretty, like, cheap kind of get-outs or whatever. Like, I think a big example of it is when people try and do the Powerpuff Girls style, but they just draw their character like one of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, instead of drawing them as a character in that world.
Yeah, because if you look at Powerpuff Girls beyond just, like, the cover art for it, there's, like, tons of other characters and things in there. And actually, technically, in canon, the Powerpuff Girls have no nose, no ears, and they have nub feet and nub arms.
Yeah, they have no fingers.
Like, that's why all the other characters are technically more anatomically correct than the Powerpuff Girls.
And, like, it always makes me laugh at when there was the old school episodes. I have to say that now because they did the reboot.
Right.
I haven't watched the reboot, so sorry if anybody in the chat likes the reboot. But, like, there was a really funny classic episode where, like, they switched bodies, so it was like they were in, like, Professor Utonium's body, I think, fucking the secretary lady, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name too. Yeah.
And I remember Buttercup was in the professor and, like, just, like, karate chops the phone and is like, why isn't it picking up?
Yeah.
and it was, like, such a funny, stupid joke where I'm like,
I know, but like that's why I wanna see some people who, like, actually draw their character in the Powerpuff Girls style, not just as a Powerpuff Girl. But Miss Bellum, that's her name.
That was it, yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Gabby and Sabrina. But yeah, so, like, I really like hers because it's, like, you can tell she really broke down, like, the actual styles. And also because, like, again, I'll use myself as an example just because I've noticed this. This isn't, like, directed at anyone, and I also want to say I am flattered anytime someone includes my style in a, like, style challenge or whatever.
Same!
I'm always super flattered.
I am too. I've seen a couple people do it, and like, it makes me even more flattered when I can tell my style out of the bunch. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that's me.
That's me.
Like, it sounds stupid, but I'm like, I get really excited.
Yeah,
it makes me feel so happy.
Apparently, according to people, mine's really hard to replicate, and I'm like, oh, well, I appreciate you trying. But anyway, but something I have noticed though is that whenever people do my style, they will either do no shading or they will do really, really light shading, which is fine. It's just a little interesting to me because I'm like, I vote, like, I know that not, like, I think it might be because a lot of my art isn't generally shaded. A lot of it is flat colored.
That's what I'm thinking.
But at the same,
you do really good shading. You can.
Yeah, it's just funny to me when I see people who it's like on the other art styles, it's like they have a lot of shading, and then mine it's just flat colored, and I'm like, But you know, it's still flattered though. It's still flattered. But I know one person one time they did like really, really soft like airbrush shading on it, and I'm like, I don't exactly shade that way, but I still am flattered.
Maybe it's the only way they could replicate it without the pencils.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people do that where they try to do mine, and I'm like...
Well, no, but the thing is, though, it's just interesting that people choose, like, an airbrush as opposed to just a solid brush, but...
True.
You know, but, like, again, it's...
You don't really... But the thing is, you don't really do, like, a hard-shaded style. Like, now that I think about it, I don't know many pictures of yours where you've done a hard...
Well, no, mine is a mix of both, though. That's the point.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I know it's a mix of both.
Like, on, like, the picture I posted today is a good example.
Oh god, what did you post today?
It's the one of Sphinx. Being a Sphinx.
Oh, of her being naked.
Yes, of her being all natural with her hairless cat form. Anyway, I mean, it's still fine though. It's not like I'm mad or anything like that. I'm not like one of those people. It's like, how dare you not replicate my style correctly?
I'm not mad, but
I mean, the picture of Healy has some pretty hard shadows.
That is true. That is true.
The recent one I did that technically is fan art has hard shadows.
Technically fan art? Which one's that?
It's the one of the Octo Girl and the other person that I was drawing fan art for.
Right. I forgot.
I do use hard shadows. Ha
The Sad Myric one has hard shadows.
That's not posted yet. That probably won't be posted till like the end of April. Anyway, but yeah, I like using a mix.
You drew him again, suffering.
Shush! I'm feeling inspired. And I'm in a weird stage where it's like I keep having to force myself to draw.
No, I get like that too. I get it.
Well, it's like it's not like I'm short on things to draw, and I am drawing things. It's just for some reason right now I'm kind of like, eh. But yeah, I like. It is funny to me though whenever people do like all the other styles in the picture are shaded and then mine's not, and I just like. I mean, I understand why. It's because I post a lot of flat colored work when I don't have like backgrounds or whatever. I mean, I'm sure most of the stuff in my gallery is probably flat. Oh, well, actually, a lot of my recent pictures aren't.
Yeah, no, your recent ones, you've been doing the details.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, some of these are technically not sketched by me, but like the Jackson and Jay are shaded, and they look adorable, because that's what they do. I have the one of Marcy and Rowan. I have the bunch of Lust sketches.
The boy.
Those two other characters I have shaded. I didn't shade the twins because that's their reference.
Yeah.
That shaded that. Yeah, a lot of my recent pictures are shaded, actually. Look at me, I'm actually doing work. Anyway.
I love that Merrick is becoming the Crackland, like, child of the month, where you're drawing him the most.
I can't help it.
It's not bad. I love him too, and now he's just sad. So
I feel strong emotions I must draw.
You know what's funny and sad is we talked about how it's like, yeah, his is gonna take a while. And it is. And it is.
As it should. As is appropriate. For a character with his damage. Oh god. Hello chat, how are you?
Yeah, hi guys, hi.
But yes, more.
He has to be probably like. I don't like having a like worst abuse limit, but the more and more I think about it,
Michie, I don't think anyone would argue with us if we said out of all the other characters, he has the most damage.
Yeah, mentally and physically. Like right now he got the Crackland fucking like the little sad star of approval.
Cries.
Here's the limit. Don't go past this limit.
Oh no. Oh goodness. Anyway.
I'm going to hell.
Both of us are together. Arm in arm.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, but like moral of the story. I like it when it feels like people actually like do style challenges and they actually try to break down what they're doing rather than like a lot of people, it almost seems like they kind of just replicate the anatomy and the line work sometimes. And even then, sometimes I don't see it. But like typically the colors usually stay the same, or like the shading's usually pretty simple. Or it's like they do a lot of like cartoon styles, which is fine, but most cartoon styles are flat colored anyway.
Yeah. What I was gonna.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I had a topic we can go into.
Oh yeah.
Keep going.
But yeah, so I like it whenever people really take like styles and they really break it down and think of all the little things about it and all that good stuff. Because it's like that's why I like that video a lot, because I feel like it's a lot more fun and you can really tell the different styles actually happening. So you know, there's that. Like, because I've tried watching some of the other YouTube ones and some of them I just get really bored.
Yeah, no,
I feel really bad, but some of them I do because it's just like, eh.
That goes right into what I want to talk about.
Perfect.
Right, so
segue.
I actually had one of the videos I want to do. I need to sit down and have time. I feel bad because like I have a video going up next week and another video after that. But like there's a couple of videos I want to do that are gonna take time. Like this sounds so bad, but it's like I actually want to like work hard on a video and like have a picture be the point of it. And yeah, so
that's my mood.
One of the big ones is that I wanted to do the draw this in your style meme.
Yeah.
But so when it first came out, I thought it was a great thing. And then I saw a lot of popular artists. They can at me, but I'm sorry. A lot of them were doing it to get free art.
Yeah.
They wouldn't admit it. But I say that because, like, while people were actually making, like, illustrations and pictures, I remember seeing some pretty big artists be like, oh, here's my character reference. Draw it in your style. And I'm like, wait, are you asking them to copy your reference sheet? Because I that's what the draw on your style was.
I mean, I think it's fine if people if people willingly want to do it and the other artist isn't making a huge stink
exactly.
about it.
Exactly. I'm not saying it like that, but I'm saying.
I mean, I technically did that. It just was a different context. But anyway.
I mean, you mean the Arby's one?
Listen, I just.
No, but see, but
I thought it was too funny not to.
No, but see, that's different because Arby's posted the picture of their mascot. I think that's different.
And I just thought it was. I just never expected a company to be on Twitter, yo, draw this in our style. It's our 45-year-old wife.
Yeah, that looks like a fucking toddler. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, I think it was funny because the picture was stylized to be kind of cute chibi-ish or whatever. Yeah, and I think someone made some note about just ew, having people sexualize children, whatever. Our mascot is 54. Just see, Arby's just responded she is a middle-aged woman. Thank you.
It makes me think of that. I'm 20. No, you ain't.
No, you. That's my favorite picture.
That SpongeBob meme is one of my favorite ones.
No, you ain't.
It's so true, but no, I had to.
If anyone, because now people are asking, I just want to throw out there real quick. If any of you want to see, just look up Arby's Twitter and go find it. I don't eat Arby's. I don't really like Arby's, but they posted a picture of here's our mascot, draw this in your style. And I thought it was so funny that I actually did it. I don't know if I actually posted it on my DA. I just know I put it on Twitter. Yeah, I did put it on Twitter. So yeah, but it's just really silly. And I love the art that's come out of it. I think it's really funny. So anyway, yes. So continue, yes.
No, but I had to comb through quite a few draws in your styles where this sounds bad, but I wanted to go through and find people who they didn't do their character or for a thing that was theirs, they made a character for it, and so I was able to find a good handful to do. Plus, I wanted enough of a different amount of it because I've seen a lot of people where they have here's a bust of a girl with butterflies, and I'm I kind of want to do more. This is just me. I'm not knocking people who did do those. I'm just saying, I'm okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to have, a few of them, and I want them to be different enough from each other that it, actually makes a difference in my style. That's how I took it. But, I'm not saying, it's the popular artist things. I'm not saying it as, oh, how dare. It was just, I didn't feel comfortable with it. But yeah, they didn't force anybody to draw them fan art and stuff.
Right.
So
I also think it's a little bit it becomes less a draw this in your style, and it becomes more draw me fan art kind of thing. Because the point when it started was that here's an illustration. How would you draw this illustration? And honestly, I like it more whenever it's people who even if it is their character, because this would probably be me just because I don't want to keep making up characters or whatever. But me, I would probably draw a really nice looking image of one of my characters that could still be ambiguous and just be pretty to look at and say, draw this in your style, rather than just say here's my character reference, Well,
yeah, that's how I took it. Yeah, it was okay, if that's the case, then I would do that. But when it's because I would see it where it was the character reference of the character just standing there, and I'm so you want them to copy the reference pose? Yeah.
And I think that I considered doing one. I probably would just do it with a character because I like drawing with my characters more, and plus I need to make sure I do that more. So it's not a bad excuse.
We also have a million, so there's a lot of niche ones.
Of course. Well, I'd probably do it with something. I just probably pick one that maybe is not super uber story driven and something more simple. I mean, hell, I could probably take. I don't know if I'd want to, but I could probably take little protagonist from the story and do a cool looking picture with her and him, whatever, and say hey, draw this in your style or whatever, because that'd be kind of cool.
I like them. I'm not gonna lie. I want to draw a humanized version.
Please do.
Oh Jesus!
No, I told you about it. I really want to do it for fun, but I know that the moment I post something, it becomes canon. And I don't want to stifle people's imaginations with the story, because that's the point. So, oh goodness, I want to let people be free.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Sky. Hello.
Hello.
Ooh.
Well, yes, I kind of want to do a draw your style challenge because I really like that stuff a lot. So
I do too. I feel like it should be a bit of a challenge over than just like, here's a character with nothing going on.
Right, exactly.
Like, give me a little something. Give me some creative lighting, maybe a complex outfit or like flower.
Yeah, like something that could be like stylized differently or something. You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you just draw a reference, it becomes less like comparing styles at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that actually having it be kind of the same, like the same image in concept, makes it easier to compare the actual art styles of two different people, rather than it being, here's a reference, here's an illustration. You know? And so I agree. I definitely think it's more fun when people actually like draw an image and say, draw this in your style, rather than just be like, here's my reference. I'd love fan art if you could.
Pretty please. Fuck, I gotta do the chibi heads. I keep
Yes, you gotta do the chibi heads. We gotta make this disaster of a family tree.
You gotta send me more. You said you made like 9 more.
I know. Well, I didn't want to like overwork you.
It's fine. It's fine. I have to do the one of Tessa and Ina anyway. Because I love them. I love thick, squishy girlfriend and full, slender girlfriend empress.
Yes. And tall, slender lesbian.
I'm not gonna lie. I know nobody's gonna understand this. I'm gonna talk about Crackland for a minute, guys. Sorry. But I think something that's really fucking funny is the idea of like, so since Dawn is gonna get to have a name and everything, I can see her being like, if people come up to her to like, you know, but like, oh, so would you like my son to marry your daughter? It's like, no, but I'll take your daughter.
Yeah, oh, please, sure.
You're like, wait, what? It's like, but you have a daughter. Oh, I know.
She's like, yes, I do. Can I have your daughter, please? Like,
I would very much like to have your daughter become a part of my daughter's family. Like, wait, what?
Oh, goodness, I love it.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. Sorry, guys. Just a quick Crackland tangent because I'm trash.
Because it's great, and that's all we ever talk about.
It's all we ever talk about. Well, it's because it's like, it sounds weird, but now that we're in like Generation 3, they're all like new characters pretty much.
Oh no, we're not in Generation 3. I thought we said we were like in Generation
no,
like.
You're in the 4th.
No,
one.
we are in 5, I think.
Oh, is Healy count as 5?
Hang on. I've got to remember because I think we like talked logistics of it and it was like technically we're in 5. Hang on, let me look. 1, 2.
I remember
3,
we cut
4.
one off with Milla. Milla was a cut off for one of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, or yeah, she was.
Sure, Sky, send me, sure. On Discord, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, was it Milla?
I thought Milla was a cut off.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think so. Because now we have a bunch of kids who are like tweens.
Yeah.
I don't know if Milla was the cutoff. I think we said that like either the triplets or Sanvi was the cutoff.
Yeah, no, I think she was.
Yeah, so there we go. That's our cutoff. So that's Generation 5 right there. They're all tiny babies.
Yeah, so it sounds terrible, but see, before we were like, okay, it's either people who can only have one kid, so that was easy. Those families are super fucking small. Or it was like, you know, gay or lesbian couples, and they didn't really want kids, or if they did, they adopted one, maybe. Keyword maybe. You know, and then we're like, okay. And now we're in like,
everyone has kids.
And now it's like, oh, what is protection? That's literally Nios' problem.
Nios is doing his best, okay?
Just that whole family.
I need a full synopsis of Crackland. I'm so lost. We would be here for 8 hours.
I mean, we did one, but we did not get that far.
It wasn't even, the stream wasn't even dedicated to it. We just fell into it.
Yeah.
Like, let's just recap it. And we only got about halfway through, and then now it'd probably be a third of the way through at this point because so much more shit has happened.
Yeah.
It's a ride.
Oh yeah, Gabe is still alive. Gabe ain't going anywhere.
Oh, Gabe is still well and alive. We've kind of just made the decision that, like, Gabe will not die until the exact moment that Dimitri does.
It's kind of okay. This is gonna be dark, so I'm gonna say it because it's. I don't know how long we're gonna be doing this roleplay for.
I don't either.
I don't think it's gonna be that long. Pretty much, this is really dark, but because of how the time mages of my time, the only way they can die is pretty much letting it happen. So I have to be very careful with how I say it, or YouTube is not going to have fun. They're just, if something were to happen, they just kind of choose not to save themselves, is pretty much what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And with Gabe being weirdly linked to Dimitri, because it's Gabe.
Just by pure choice.
They would just pass away together.
Yes.
And knowing Gabe, they would probably be reborn to be best friends or lovers again.
Of course. Because it's Gabe. Yes.
Yeah. So, do condoms exist in Crackland? Okay, so...
Yes. Technically.
Quick tangent. So, Crackland was the crossover episode of Seven Sins and a Baby meets Marked. That's what it was.
And then it escalated into its own thing.
And now it's its own thing. And so, because Seven Sins and a Baby is more like... I know you haven't played the games, but it's more like Final Fantasy logic fantasy. So it's fantasy, but they have like plumbing and most modern things, but it's still like it's like the timeline is kind of like
fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of like they don't have cell phones or cars, but they have weapons that are more advanced. I can say that, right? Because I was gonna say something. I'm like, no, wait, I should probably wait.
Yeah, somebody said, like, imagine the synopsis of Crackland if it was a comic or something like that. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. If Crackland was a comic, I feel like some people would, like, not look at us the same way again.
Yeah, no, and honestly...
There is so much stuff that happens in there that we really have to sit down and explain, or it makes us look really bad.
It really does. But it makes us good writers.
Oh yes, I swear we're great writers. We're just
yeah, we're not doing it to get off.
We do not write black and white stories.
No, at all. And it's like we'll have moments too where like, fuck, I just realized this thing will happen, and then it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen, but that makes so much sense.
But we have to because we brought it up.
Yeah. So yeah, and then my story Marked is a high fantasy. So, like, bitches get chamber pots is, like, the difference in time zones. That's the best way I can explain it. It's like, some people are like, okay, what time? I'm like, they have chamber pots. They don't have plumbing.
You should do a Crackland podcast.
That would take forever, though. That would seriously take forever.
It would take so long.
Yeah, so parts of Morgan's world have gone into my world, and parts of my world have gone into Morgan's world. And so because of that, the timeline's all fucky. And the character you're talking about, Nyos is Tetsugaya's crack son that technically can't exist in canon. There's no way he cannot exist.
He only exists because, like, Gabe is fucking Gabe.
Yeah, because Gabe did something. And then it was more just a happenstance. It was one of those, like, oh, this kind of thing happened. Now I made it so you're pregnant, so now you're pregnant. And that's when it was kind of like, oh, well, now it's awkward.
Da-da-da.
So, but then, like, it worked itself out, and Tetsu had Nyos, and then stuff happens, and Nyos was more so raised where... Can we talk about your mage's, like, lifestyle differences? Like,
we have before.
Oh, yeah, okay, so... How Morgan's mages work is almost, not all, but most are like polygamous, very open, they don't really care. They're kind of their own race. Is where it's like, they're just kind of in their own little like subsect of thing. And so Nyos growing up like that has just been like, yeah, he's not a player. He does take care of the ladies he sleeps with, and he does care about them. So he's not, like, using them to use them.
Doesn't lead anybody on or anything like that.
It's just that he spends most of his time in my world, where birth control doesn't exist, and now he's learned that he keeps protection on him.
Yeah, he should probably just keep that around a little bit.
Yeah, because the first one was Tessa that showed up.
Yeah, that showed up. Not even the first kid he had.
Yeah, it wasn't the first kid he had. So, and and the sad thing is we've come to the realization he probably has more out there somewhere, but he's also in this like kind of awkward like, okay, doing math, I had my oldest when I was her age right now. So because of that, you know, Marcy showed up later on to seek revenge, and then it was like, oh shit, she's a mage, which literally means she has to be mine.
Which means it is literally impossible for anyone else from this world to give birth to her, because I'm the only mage from my world that lives here.
Yeah, and because mages are genetic in his world, it was one of those like, fuck, and then he got married, and he had a kid with his wife, who is beautiful sunshine boy.
He's a good boy.
He is the sun. Like, he is literally
That is all he is.
That is all he is. He comes from a sun family, and he is sunshine incarnate.
Yes.
And so, then, like, a few years later, Nios and his wife get, like, a notice to go to, like, another tiny kingdom. And it was because he had another kid! Because his son's powers awakened, and that's one of those, like, well, I kind of just figured out who the dad was, because, you know, he exploded. Poor Maxie.
Oh, man. But now Maxie and Cyrus are best friends.
Yeah, they're best friends. But that's why, like, I want to do a family photo, because none of them look alike.
I know. And now there's Healy involved. And
I know, now Healy's there, and, like, at least Healy and Cyrus are gonna look a little alike. Like, it's gonna be funny. You're gonna put them together, and it's gonna be like, oh, there's Shay and her 2 kids from a previous marriage. And those are all Anios's, and it's like, no, they're married.
Like, none of them share the same. Like, they will only ever share one parent. They can never share both.
How many illegitimate does he have? Like I said,
yes.
we don't know, because if any of them were human, there's literally no way of him finding out. Like,
right, and like, especially because his purple hair only comes from the fact that he is Tetsu's child, so that none of his kids will ever have purple hair.
Ever.
Like, so there's not like that kind of giveaway.
Yeah. And none of them have really weird hair. The only one that's kind of close is Tessa, but she only got it because...
She got it from her grandpa.
Yeah, she got it from her grandpa, and her mom was a mage. So, like...
Yeah, and she was born and raised in my world, so no one thought that was weird.
Yeah, so she is, like, the pure mage kid. All the other ones are halfies.
Oh, goodness. And I still blame, because we have a character now that I swear to God, I just wanted to make a damn villain. I didn't want to make one that was redeemable. I just wanted to make a bad guy for the sake of having a bad guy. And now Cassandra is just woven into the plot, and now we just joke that, like, 90% of things that happen is probably her fault. Like... Yeah. I think
it was one of those, like, yeah, she's a villain, but then we're like, oh no, but what if there's a reason? Like there were
But what if we make her redeemable and not actually a bad guy?
Yeah, and then we just make her sad, and then we're like, oh, that makes sense.
And now what if she's just like everyone's mom?
We should explain, though, she is a racist.
Yes, she is. She's not a perfect lady.
She's not, no, but and she's a racist in the sense that she believes that mages are, like, the way to go.
Yeah, they're superior.
Yeah. And it's funny, because doing this Crackland stuff, I ended up helping Morgan with lore. Like, we discovered how the satyrs and mermaid people exist in the Seven Sins and a Baby universe, is because when mages fucking were like, hey, you humans are being dumb, we're gonna go throw the females in the ocean, and the men are gonna lose their bottom half.
Oh goodness! And
then just nature found a way. So
evolution. Oh Oh, good. And then like
Pyth, rip the kids, he'll never fight. We did make this really dark joke. It is a dark joke, and I'm not gonna say it's not, because I'm the one who realized it, where it's like, if his kids ever want to date anybody, he's like, you just can't date anyone from this kingdom. They can't be born here.
Because I don't know.
They had to have been like brought in somewhere else. Like they could not have been born in the West.
Oh,
and the funny thing is, none of them have asked why.
I feel so bad because I still remember the time whenever like people would meet Merrick the first time with Cyrus and Maxie, and they'd think Nios had another one. Like
exactly, they're like,
even though he has no relation to Nios whatsoever.
I don't know. Well, the same thing happened with Yue when she showed up.
Yeah, and it's just like
just looked at, like, and she looked nothing like him. Like,
oh, of course, but
no way.
Neither do most his children.
Yeah, so that's what it was like. You know, just is that another one? I don't think so. And then it was she wasn't. They just
is not.
They were bad with paperwork, but.
Oh, Yue.
But yeah, pretty much ever since Maxie, yeah, it was Maxie. Now Nios carries, like, I like to call it super birth control, because, like, it's just like, yeah, take this pill when we're done. We'll be fine. Trust me.
Goodness.
It'll save a lot of heartache, because a lot of women are in the Middle Ages, you know, that's kind of how Maxie's mom died. Maxie's mom died in childbirth, so rip. What I name her? Emily? Rip Emily.
I have no idea. We just kind of throw out a lot of names.
She didn't exist besides to be his mom, so rest in peace, Maxie mom.
Mama Maxie.
Mama Maxie. But the funny thing is, Shay, Nios' wife, is like totally down with it, because should we talk about their wedding? I mean, we're already talking about Crackland shit. Like, their little thing was so cute, and I still think it's cute.
I know, I think it's cute.
Was like, so should we talk about it since we're already
We can
here?
if we're going for it. And if people want to ask questions, you're free to about anything.
If you guys want to ask questions and just not have us ramble.
We just ramble when we have no questions. So
yeah. So what happened was Axis had just gotten married to Bella, or were they dating? You know, they were dating, but they were engaged, or they got married. I can't remember which one. But this offer came up where it was like, hey, if you don't marry off your brother to one of my kids, we're gonna side with the enemy. And it was one of those, like, we really need what are in their minds. So, like, Nios actually had, like, a full-on medieval, we're doing this for a trade deal.
Yeah.
Wedding.
Probably one of the only actual, like, accurately historical things that has ever happened in this.
I mean, we have other ones. It doesn't work in the context of Crackland. So I'm like, yeah.
Crackland doesn't allow for sadness.
It doesn't. Well,
except when it does.
And I was saying, that's not true. We have Merrick. Oh.
Christ. But see, we had to come up with that as a backstory.
We did. And it makes so much sense, and that's what makes it hurt.
Then we gave him two unexpected brothers.
Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful boy.
Will Crackland be publicly available? I will pay.
Maybe someday.
Someday, if we both are in a place or whatever, we might just do a random comic about it. But geez, we'd have to, because I mean, we'd have to actually go back and rework some things too.
Oh yeah, because a lot of it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, or a lot of it, like, well, also the thing would be that we'd have to, if we were to start it from like the very start, it would have to be like after our stories are done, because
they go down a lot of important plot points in
yes.
Seven Sins and a Baby
like,
and
listen,
My Story.
Listen, to be vague, I have to keep one of the characters in, like, because we're going to do a family tree just for the lulz, and there are certain characters that either have to be left out or kind of censored because it's technically spoilery in some way. So
and like a big spoiler, not like, oh, this is funny. Like, no, this is like story changing spoiler.
Oh yes, especially one of mine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have some too, so this is why we're even Steven, but
anyway, so I mean, maybe someday if we ever feel like dicking around, we might go back. I mean, honestly, what's funny is I feel like at that point, there would be like no way for us to dig up the original text, so we'd have to literally go with what we remember.
Yeah, and then just do it all over again.
I know, just start back from the start.
Yeah, fucking years down the line, be like, oh.
Remember that roleplay we did?
Oh, but like, okay, back to the Nios and Shay wedding.
Yes.
All right, so okay, so Nios was very upset because he's a good boy, and he was upset because he's like, I can't cheat on my wife. She's definitely not gonna understand. Like, so my life's kind of over. And they had never met. Like, he didn't know. They didn't even know about the family. Besides, because one cool thing about my story is I love medieval politics. Surprise!
Oh, yes.
So a lot of my main kingdoms, littler kingdoms, is a lot of them became rich because of like happenstance, which is how it happened back in the day. So it was like, yeah, this is a little port town, but this family struck oil and gold. Pretty much what Shay's family was is they discovered they owned a mine that had a special kind of dragon like metal in it that can be really helpful in making armor and also really helpful in killing dragons. So it was one of those like, this will help our men or kill them. There's no in between. We don't really have an option here, and they specifically wanted Nios. And so,
well, because Nios was single.
yeah, Nios was single, and he had like 18 kids or whatever. I made fucking what did I name you?
We just were talking to him earlier today.
I know, fuck. Aaron? No, not Aaron.
Not Aaron. That's
Arn. It's Arun.
Arn.
He's never gonna show up in my story. If he does, he would be a background character.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, so he sets it up for the wedding day, and it was great because like it was old school wedding day. So like Axis and Nios like didn't even know what his wife was gonna look like. And so then she shows up, and they were both like, "Oh, at least she's pretty." Like, like it's selfish, but that was a big thing back then. And so they're having the party, and then poor Shay and Nios have to go do the bedding ceremony. And like Axis and Bella and fucking her dad are outside the room talking, and Axis is like, "I hate this fucking tradition. I really don't want to be here. Like, I know what's happening in there,
but I don't like it.
But I have to be here because of reasons. I'm a big royalty guy, so I have to be here." And so Nios and Shay are just kind of like really awkward together, and it's one of those like poor Nios is like, "Oh god, this is gonna suck." She has no idea what she's doing, and then it discovers that well, technically she's bisexual, like now, but at the time she didn't know any better. She thought she was a lesbian. And Nios was like, "Wait, really? That's a thing?" And she was like, "What?" And so he like helped her out, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, if you want, like, I can be with other women.
We can both be with other women.
And I can help you be with other women." And so then they became like a marriage friendship thing. And then eventually, like, because then his kids showed up. Because they got married, things were going great, things were going okay, and then then his kids showed up, which was Tessa first, and then Marcy. Marcy was the little bitch. She was a big troublemaker.
We thought she was gonna be the angsty teenager we were gonna have to deal with. No, it was Tessa.
Like, no, they put her in military school. Like they
no!
They threw her in military school
of her own volition.
And straightened her shit out. Yeah, no, she wanted to do it. But I remember it so funny because to me it's still so funny because Shay was like a very dainty, very shy, very quiet, very ladylike lady, and Marcy was like fucking around. I forgot what it was, but I remember she was doing something, and Shay just fucking like shoved a handkerchief in her mouth.
Yeah.
You are not gonna talk like that if you're like, you are a lady. And I remember Nios being like, "Oh my god, that is the hottest thing I've ever seen."
It fucking, like, Shios just like, "I am in love." Like,
yeah, like, where was this? Where
just
is
like,
this woman?
it's like, I am now happy, I am married, like, to this woman.
Then they kind of talked about it, and then Shay was kind of like, "Well, I mean, I guess I could try it. You are my husband. We are eventually gonna have to have a kid." And then they realized they liked it, and then Cyrus showed up a little while later.
And I made him like girly things because both of the daughters both liked not girly things.
Fuck it, yeah, just that was it. So Cyrus is and when he grows up, he's gonna be a beautiful whore. Like that's gonna be it too. It's like you gotta bring up that Nios' kids are gonna be just like him.
This is why we could never talk about this like outside of a stream.
Oh, exactly. People just wouldn't get it. So like, I remember what we said was like Tessa's the player like her dad. Marcy she's the like gotta hide her. She's better now and she's got a boyfriend. But she's also got, like... God damn it. He's still hot. Stop it. Like,
it's like, no.
Yeah, so, like, Marcy's the... What was it? We made the joke. It was, like, the repressed hoe.
Yeah.
We've got...
But she's not a hoe. She's probably, like, one of the few that's monogamous, along with Maxie.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. So, Marcy's monogamous. Tessa is just like her dad.
Tessa's a mage.
And it's bad. Tessa's a mage. And she also grew up around that being normal and, like, her parents' lifestyle, so to her it's, like, really normal. And it's funny now, because she kind of awakened early, and Nios is, like, not okay with it. And I'm waiting for, like, Tessa to find out, be like, you fucking hypocrite, like, you were younger than me doing this shit. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Because he a protective daddy. He may not act like it, but he doesn't.
He is.
He doesn't want his kids to grow up.
He's just stressed.
Yeah. And so, there's that. Then Cyrus, which is he just loves what would you say? Beautiful people. Like he just loves beautiful people.
Yeah, he's basically.
So he's the classy hoe, right? Like, you wouldn't think he's a hoe.
Well, it's like he comes off like a super nice guy, but if, like, you try to flirt with him, you will not be prepared with how he flirts back, because it's like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, we made the joke that there's another character we have, Ashton, and we're like, just in my mind, I can't get over the idea that Ashton likes to pretend he's hot shit, you know?
Yeah, he's a musician. He's a musician and a maid.
Like, so he likes flirting with the girls and being all sassy. So we just pictured he'd, like, try to flirt with Cyrus and be so thrown off his game. Whatever, Cyrus, like, totally flirts with him back, like, all for it. And he's just like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought you were, like, nice and pure.
See,
like,
that's what I'm waiting for, is because I picture, since he plays guitar, is he would be holding it in, like, a couple strings, like, comically big or something. Yeah, it's like... Yeah. My guitar!
Someone asked you how the car show was, darling.
Oh, it was great. It was fun. My heel exploded, so I kind of had to sit in the car for the last hour. But it was fine. I had a great time.
Woo!
Cody's 66 got invited to a retro car show. So I always like the car shows when they're not like some dude putting on an event, like it's an actual event. Because sometimes it's like a dude on Facebook being like, let's go do a car meetup. And then you're, like, in a Walmart parking lot with, like, 86 car guys just talking around and shooting the shit. And it's like, okay, there's nothing for, like, the Randys to do. So I like going to car shows that have, like, everybody doing stuff. And so I had a blast with that. And they gave us umbrellas. So that was nice. Yes, I had fun until my heel exploded. Let's see, where were we? So, yeah, we have that. We have Maxie, who... No, I was gonna say he's the only, like, one-way leaning character, because Tessa and Cyrus go both ways. But I'm like, no, Marcy only likes guys, so Marcy's straight.
Yeah.
Maxie, when he grows up, is gonna be very gay.
Yes.
I'm very excited, because I love Maxie.
I love him
because when he first came into the family and everything, there was this great scene of, like, Shay talking to Nios and being like, I know you're not a morning person, but we're going to have to do something very early tomorrow morning on Friday. And it was like, what do we have to do? And then it was like, oh, this is what you meant.
We got to go to church.
My youngest son is religious. Great. Because my world does have a religion and has a pretty big one. And so Maxie is the gay little religious being. So he's not going to understand until his fifis kick in. Probably when he's a teenager.
Oh, poor boy.
He's going to be a late bloomer.
Quaz.
But I'm excited because I know you said you have the idea for who you kind of want his future boyfriend to be.
I need to draw him.
Which is, oh, do you have an idea in mind?
I do. Listen. Maxie's gonna get himself a knight in shining armor, all right?
he gonna get himself a man.
He is gonna get himself a warrior prince, all right?
Oh my god. What's so funny though is, are we gonna ask now, is Gabe gonna have it to where they can actually have a kid that's their kid, or are they gonna do the adopt trade?
I feel like it would just depend if somebody, like, I feel like, I almost feel like they would ask, just because I almost feel like they'd be thinking about it, but like, Addison wouldn't want to go ask. But then Gabe would just be like, here, like, I would love to help, like.
Yeah, well, they would also know because of Cassie, so they would know that it's, like, possible.
Yeah, so
oh my god, that could be funny. Well, I mean, technically, he'd have to already exist at this
point.
Yeah,
he's probably already existed. Well, again, that's part of the humor of it, because he's just gonna show up later, and everybody goes like, who the fuck are you? And it's just like, I'm their son, and they're just like, they had a son? Like...
Yeah. What's gonna be funny is the fact that, like, with Eli, you know, they still had to have, like, Cassie be the weird magic surrogate. So I picture that not so much Addie, but her girlfriend,
yes,
would be like, I have to go narrow down the best male traits I can find in a donor. Like, I can totally see that, of her just, like, no chill.
Well, see, the alternate reality, though, would be that Gabe just makes one of them a dude for a little while.
I mean, that would work, too.
Because, I mean...
No, I think that would, yeah. Wait, you're right, because I forgot Addison. Yeah, Addison's
Addison is just, like, loves everyone.
Yeah, so...
And she is in denial about it.
Right, so that would make more sense. So then Addie... I also, and this sounds bad, but... Oh, wait, no, I can't say that. I'll type it to you.
Oh, boy.
I just realized I can't say that. That's a spoilery thing, and I was gonna say...
Oh, goodness. I'll look. Yeah, but anyway, if you guys want to ask questions, please do. Otherwise, we're just gonna ramble endlessly. Yeah? I mean, yeah, that's how I pictured it.
Yeah. So... Yeah, sorry, if you guys have questions, or if you have Crackland questions, go ahead.
Yeah, we're just here to party. I don't even think I made this I think I just put... Yeah, the stream title is just Michie and Zodiac mess around for a while.
Fine. Yeah. How long do you think Crackland will last? Right now, we're reaching year 2. Like, so...
I mean, yeah. It's just, by December this year, it'll be 2 years, so...
Yeah.
Who knows? And things go very fast.
Bye! Star.
Oh, goodness.
I still got excited, though, of just, like, Tessa being like... Oh, sure, I'll save a dance for you. Ina, swoops in.
I don't know why, but now I'm just laughing at the idea that, like, she does not look like someone who just blends into a crowd. She doesn't. She has a huge-ass tail, these, like, bright colors to her, but for some weird reason, I just imagine, like, for some strange reason, she's really good at just sneaking around places.
You know what it probably is? And this sounds weird. It could totally be like her vampire.
I mean, probably. Like,
she just again, and since she would have the fuck, what did I call it? The pheromone, pretty much. Thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what I called it. But when they like do the thing, I cannot believe I'm spacing on it. But okay, my backtrack since I know you guys don't know about this. So in the marked world, because I don't know if Seven Sins and a Baby has vampires. My world has vampires, but mine are very much monster-based. But they're monster-based in the gray area. I like to have my monsters be in the gray area.
Oh yeah, me too.
Where my monsters aren't evil for evil's sake. They're like animals. It's like, okay, do animals in the wild do that? Well, you don't call them monsters, so it's kind of like... So they have this, vampires, because that's what they're technically called, but they're vampires. They have this pheromone that, even if they are gay or straight, it's gonna attract the opposite sex, no matter what. And it makes them more like influence. That's what I call it, because that's what it is. Mm-hmm. When they influence somebody. And it, like, the more strong your vampire blood is, the stronger it works. Like, a pure blood did on Angel, and she forgot she was fucking married, so, like... That sounds bad. It didn't go, like... to that territory. But a male vampire just put it on, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I came here looking for my husband. I have a husband? You're very pretty." So, but then, like, Ina is so little that I feel like that would just be her blending in. Like, you're right.
Just, like, no one suspects the walking, like...
the walking, yeah, the walking...
The shark mermaid just strolling around.
Especially in the West, because she doesn't have to have a glamour. Because I bet if you have a glamour, she's just gone.
Oh, if she has a glamour, she's just like, you don't... Unless she talks first, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Pyth said, we're on Gen 4 in my 5-year RP.
Nice. See?
Have you ever encountered anyone who acted / looked like your characters? Michie, I know, found someone who looked exactly like Envy that one time.
It freaked me the fuck out. Like, no joke. Okay, so, ironically enough, I was going to a car show, and I went into the bathroom, and there was this really cute Asian lady. I say this because Envy's Asian. A lot of people don't know that. She's Asian. And she had really long, straight black hair, and she was putting in fucking green contacts, and she had green eyeliner on, and not in the same style, but like just green eyeliner. Yeah. And she like complimented me on my scarf or something. It was very sweet, and I just kind of stared at her because it was the weirdest thing, because it literally looked like how I saw Envy in real life. And I just kind of was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, thank you." And I went to the bathroom, and I texted him like, "She's real." Just met her.
Oh, so, goodness.
As for my characters, I almost, actually no, I technically did meet a Tybalt once. I did, and it made me very happy. But it was when they were 14. It was one of my brother's friends when he was 14. Was over. I had never met this guy, and he had like the same haircut Tybalt did. And ironically enough, now that I remember, he's fucking blonde. And I remember seeing like his body type. I know it sounds really weird, but I wasn't like that. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's exactly how I see him." They were swimming, and I was like, "I know this is gonna sound really weird. Can I take your picture posing as something?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So I took his picture and I referenced it, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's Tybalt's body type." I'm sad I don't have the picture anymore, but it's like that was him. Like that was him at 14, and it freaked me out.
It's beautiful.
And it's where I actually got Tybalt's more poofy, long-haired form from. I was like, I will say this, but I won't show it. When Tybalt grows up, he does cut his hair. Morgan knows what he looks like.
Wink wonk.
But yeah, my boy, when he grows up, he becomes a man.
Man. All right.
Let's see. I've asked this in a few streams before. I was just want to see if anything can change. Have you started on new? Oh,
I have actually. Yes, I have.
Wait, really?
I've sketched the basic ideas. I just need to actually get in a place where I can sit down and record them.
And paint them.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm probably not going to paint them in the way that I painted the last ones. With these ones, I'm probably just going to make them... I'm going to spend a lot more attention to detail on these ones rather than paint, because I've started to realize I don't... my painting, like, for actual paintings, and I'm sure this is, like, part of the reason, is that they don't really... They're not all that different from my, like, lined work. The only difference is that they just don't have any lines. But part of the reason why I don't, like, paint a lot just free time is because the way I do it, it just takes so long. So, like, to record each of those portraits being painted, especially with, like,
forever,
especially with, like, the extra flair I've decided to add into them, would take forever in terms of recording, and I don't want to risk having that on my iPad and risk losing recordings. So I have started them. They're probably just not going to be painted and more just be really, like, just have a lot more time and attention to detail than some other ones have. But I have started them. I have, all of them are basically roughed out in the ways I want to. I just need to actually sit down and start them and record them. So yes, there is actually progress on there. And part of the reason I was motivated to do it is because I do have an idea for an art style challenge video. However, it's not exactly going to be like a traditional art style challenge video. But I wanted people to be able to technically meet my characters first before I did that.
I mean, that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, because the one I'm doing is it's less me taking other people's art styles and replicating them, and it is more of me giving my Looniverse characters art styles that fit their personalities. Because I thought that would be fun.
That is cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, and I've basically already figured out what all of them are going to be, and I think it'll be a fun time. But I wanted people to be able to have a Looniverse portraits or whatever for people who want to learn more about the characters and stuff first. So that's part of my motivation. But yeah, so I have technically started them. I've roughed them out. I just need to actually start them and record them.
Also, I mean, but another thing too is like you've been working really hard, which I'm very proud of. Better than me. You've been working on giving characters like detailed like facial features.
Yes, I've been working on that a lot.
Where you really are making them look different, which is something I've been trying to study and practice on myself. It's because like,
well, that's one reason I love doing those troll things with me and Quan, just because it's a perfect excuse.
Yeah.
To practice
body types and body shapes.
Yeah, well, especially it was mostly like noses I was seeing that I just felt like they needed more to make them solid. Cause like just I don't know, I started to get to a point where I was like looking at my noses and they felt so flat and boring. Yeah, so like I was realizing it was the nostrils that were really bugging me, so I was like, I need to fix you.
Oh, I get it. That was like me and it was me and like eyelashes specifically.
Yeah.
Buddy, I need to get this hangnail. Binks, just stand very. Binks, your fingernail is chipped. Let me cut it.
Yeah, and it's that, and also eyelashes. I felt like, because I was starting to realize again, like everyone thought my eyelashes were eyeliner and all that. And I've always actually thought that I kind of like when people do this stuff that are, like when like they have albino characters and they actually draw them with white eyelashes and stuff like that. So I'm like, how can I do that with like characters that are blonde or things like that? I'm like, I know, I'll do it and I'll erase the inner part of the eyelash so I can color it the right color. And I like it a lot, so it's working out. I'm also working on trying to just put just generally more detail into everything. Like I've started doing it with fingernails and stuff like that.
Oh, really? I haven't noticed the fingernails one.
Yeah, well, I mean, because usually they're pretty small.
Well.
I think a good example is probably on the troll. Well, no. Well, yeah, you can kind of see it on two of the characters, but like I've just started to put it where you can actually kind of see the fingernails if they stick out or whatever.
Oh, no, I get you. Like, again, that's the thing. I've been trying to get better at drawing like hands that don't look too much like sausage fingers. It's like a really bad habit of mine. Because a lot of my characters, even Ringmaster, they have long nails. Like Tibble technically has long nails until he's older, because of mage reasons. And so like the other ones kind of file him down. Ringmaster has to like vigorously file his down. And so it's like I'm like, okay, I gotta draw your fingernails, and it always looks a little wonky. So it's why you practice drawing hands and get better.
Yeah, I like some detail. Detail's fun.
Well, I like to face shapes and like different like body weights.
Yeah. It makes it fun.
Yay.
And it makes it feel like you're not drawing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, especially when like it sounds bad, but like, you'll see a person draw like a base for somebody, and you see the body type, and you're like, I literally have no idea what character that'll be. And I've had that for a long time, and I'm like, I gotta change that up because, like, especially with like certain characters, I've always seen them like very shapely, and then I have Tetsu who wears big dresses, and I'm like, you hide yours. I know it's in your character to hide your shame, but you've got a cute pear body. I just want to show the world.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Questions.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh goodness. But yeah, I like having fun with it, and that's why I think I had so much fun doing that picture of Sphinx, because it was just really different, and it gave me a great excuse just to do a wrinkly cat, and I'm like, yeah.
That is true.
I like this stuff. It's fun.
Ooh.
Oh goodness.
I don't know. I'm very confused. Oh, I see you posted your cat on fucking Twitter.
Yes, I posted my cat on Twitter.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't follow the Zodiac Lord on, his family got a kitten. That's fucking adorable.
His name is CJ.
And he's just so. Oh, I see the cat video finally.
Yes, he loves the feather.
He's just so tiny.
He is. He's a small boy.
Yeah. His name is CJ for Cat Junior.
Yes, his name is Cat Junior. Who your favorite character?
I have way too many to pick one.
From what?
Yeah. I think out of ours.
I have no idea. I have too many to choose.
Yeah, especially when it's like, because like a lot of all of my characters I love for different reasons.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
And like the most emotionally attached I have.
What
honestly,
breed is CJ?
Probably.
I don't know what breed he is. I mean, his siblings were like 2 of them were black and 2 of them were orange. So.
Oh, so he was a mutt.
Yeah, like,
he was a mutt of cats.
Well, it's either a mutt or like they can have. I mean, they can have like species and still be varied in color. It's just a fact that I don't. It's like it's harder to tell with with cats, because with dogs it's really obvious, you know.
Yeah.
With him, I'm not sure. I don't know what his parents looked like, so. But he's a boy, and I can just tell that when he gets older that there's gonna be, he could have some pretty eyes. Another question: any updates on chapter 1 or 2 of Seven Sins and a Baby? He is
working on them.
I did get done with the next 4 pages. I will say that.
Yay!
But now I've decided, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. I have to do it first, but I have to what I decided. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna work out exactly like what's gonna happen in chapter 1 and everything I'm gonna figure out, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rough sketch it all just so I can have it and be done, and so that way I have a better judgment on how far I'm going and how much longer it will be.
I mean, I think that's smart. That's what Holly started doing now. Where she's like, I'm just gonna sketch a fuck ton of pages out and then ink it and then finish it up.
Yeah.
Because another thing you guys should know is Seven Sins and a Baby isn't like it isn't Morgan's like magnum opus. It's
no.
A story
No.
He loves very much and he does care about it. But it was more so like you said, it was a comic you wanted to start to finish. Like,
oh yeah, just I wanted to prove to myself I could do it.
Yeah. So it's getting done, but it's also he's not getting paid or anything to do it. So it's why like I've had a couple people be like, "Oh my god, if you work from home, you should be able to write all of your novels in one sitting." And I'm like, "You're right, but I don't get paid to write my stories."
Yeah.
So that's stuff I gotta do in my free time while I work on my job.
Yeah. What's your favorite character to draw? I like drawing Lust a lot. I've said that before.
I mean, yeah, Tetsu's a default for me, but I love Ringmaster's face because I can give him like really exaggerated expressions. Another fun one is I really like drawing Maxie. Like I didn't think I would, but I really like drawing Maxie.
Yeah. I swear, I draw like a different character every day. I swear to God.
Well, that's what happens when you have like a bazillion.
Yeah, I mean, right now I really like drawing Merrick.
I remember back in the day when I had 4 characters, and now I'm like,
What a mood.
No, I'm wrong. I really like drawing Dot. Dot's my D&D character.
Dot is a good baby.
Dot and my fire gremlin that doesn't have a name.
Yes, indeed. Oh, goodness.
But speaking of Quan and Grace, if you creep on this later, I want to see your characters.
Quan's working on her. She just sent a message that said she's almost done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she said she's gonna have it done tonight or tomorrow. I've seen a work in progress, and I can tell you it's quality.
Lucky I haven't seen this tease.
I love the idea for her already. It'll be great.
Favorite rom-com. I don't really like rom-coms. Sorry. My mom likes rom-coms. I'm more of a horror movie fan. my style does not show that I have a very dark, morbid sense of humor, and
Yes.
and you know, I know you know,
Yes.
and my style and everything. It's why I like when people see like goth me and then see what I draw, they're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, just because I love drawing cutesy, girly, colorful things doesn't mean I want that on my body. Let's see.
I don't know, what have you been doing in terms of your SUAU, but how it's going? I'm not doing it anymore.
SUAU? Oh!
Yeah.
You haven't done that in years.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, my brother and I aren't doing it anymore, so.
Yeah. Those are characters you can throw into Crackland if you wanted. Just repurpose them into humans.
Well, there is one I'm technically, he wasn't in anything, but I had a gem character I'm remaking into a human for something totally different.
Really? Do I know
One
what
second.
it is? Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay,
No, that's fine. I was like, do I know who it is?
no, you have never seen him before, probably.
Oh,
Unless you
okay,
saw him,
okay.
like, casually in my toy house or something. It's for, the thing Kwan started. She started a group for a roleplay thing, and I was just like, I can rework this boy into this.
Oh, okay.
So, I already sketched him out. I just need to color him, but he's a pretty boy.
Let me see.
I don't have it on me right now.
When you do, send me.
Ah. Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Have you checked out the Homestuck up? Oh yeah, I guess they updated Homestuck yesterday.
Well, yeah, I know that's usually what they do, but yeah, I mean, no, not technically, but I know it's over, so. I mean, technically, it ended over a year ago. I'm pretty sure.
I'm so ready for Detective Pikachu.
What's your favorite horror movie then, Michie?
That's so hard to pick just one. Okay, so my guilty pleasures are my easiest one. My guilty pleasure horror movies are the Saw movies and the Final Destination movies, because it's a ride. Like with the Saw movies, the first two are really good, and then after that you're just like, I'm waiting for that music. I'm waiting for that plot twist. There's always one after all of them. And then Jigsaw came out, and I was like, yeah, buddy, let's fuck up the timeline even more! No, seriously, it's bad. Like, there's like 2 movies that take place during another movie's timeline, and you're just like, I'm waiting for the music cue, and then it kicks up, and you're like, we're here! What's the what are they gonna pull out of their hat this time? But, as for, like, favorite horror movies of all times that affected me, I would have to say Sinister, the first one. The second one, don't watch it, is my number one, because that movie, like, actually wrecked me. I know it sounds weird, but watching that movie, like, made me traumatized. Like, I was so paranoid, and I was so freaked out that I, like, didn't sleep well for, like, a week. And then, number 2 would be Hereditary. Just, if you're a horror movie buff, when you kind of feel like the movie's done, turn it off or leave. Because they went back later and admitted that they had to reshoot the ending because test audiences didn't get it. And everybody I've talked to is like, yeah, the ending is stupid. It should have ended like 10 minutes before. So like I said, if you're a movie buff and you're just like, oh, this is where a normal movie would end, it ended there. So there's that. And then I really liked Us. I saw Us like 3 times. I know they're all modern horror movies, but most classics don't freak me out. Mostly because horror, like any other genre, has its phases. So, like, you know, the 80s was the big slasher genre.
Yep.
The early 90s was the, like, well, still kind of the slasher genre. But that was more of the, like, torture porn-ish era in the early 2000s. And now we're in, like, paranormal spoops for this generation. And I've watched classic horror movies, and while I can respect them for the time, I honestly believe so many of them have not aged well. I'm like, for the time, I'm like, that was spoopy when it came out, but now I've seen better spoopy. So, There's my long tangent on horror movies. You're welcome.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, and because I know Morgan doesn't like horror movies.
I mean, I like horror as a concept, and I like psychological horror kind of stuff or whatever. But I don't like watching horror movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, I found a game that's like not necessarily horror, but like some like it'll jump scare you.
Which game?
There's apparently a whole series of games called The Cube, and it's like same concept of being like room escapes, but they have different themes and different stories. Mm-hmm. And they're really good. Like I'm playing one that's like one of their newest, but apparently from all the reviews it says that like the whole series is pretty damn good. But they're like at least the one I'm playing, I don't know if maybe that doesn't carry over to everything else, but like the one I have, it'll like jump scare you, some really freaky stuff will happen, you're kind of like, no, don't do that, like you stop that. Like but they're and they actually do something really smart, because you know usually like when games for like mobile devices have like a free trial, it's usually like 2 things and then it's like, well, now you gotta pay. For this one, you get to basically play the first half of the game for free, and the first half technically does have a conclusion. It's not a happy ending, but it's a conclusion of sorts. It's just really vague and really ominous. But you can play chapter 2, which apparently gives you more of the story if you pay, which I think is a lot smarter.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yes, I mean, if you want something slightly spoopy, it's pretty neat. And like they do this combination of having like drawings for most of it. Oh, but then there's this whole thing with the TV in the one I'm playing, because I'm playing the Cube Paradox. And they'll have this thing with a TV that you'll flip to channels, but everything on the TV is with like live action, and I hate it. Like the guy you play.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, like the guy you play or whatever, you can see his drawn self in the mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you actually have to do things like interact with yourself in the mirror, essentially. Mm-hmm. But so when you watch the TV, it'll sometimes be you, but as a real dude. And then like there's this creepy crow guy and this like shadowy monster, which I guess is your soul or something like that. It's like fucking creepy. And there's this whole bit about like, again, because it'll jump scare you. And there's this like creepy lady who's a part of it or whatever, and she only ever stares at you front on with this like dead stare, and you're like, please stop. Like,
well, that's just it. Like, that's something I like. Okay, like a lot of people have been nitpicking us because they're overthinking it instead of just accepting it. And by that, I'm not saying it as a writing ploy, but it's like when you overthink a lot of things, it's no longer scary. It's supposed to be like to me, real horror isn't a jump scare. Real horror is something that sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know, like the creepy, unsettling thing. Perfect example. If you go into a room and you just see a person standing in a corner staring at you, that's gonna freak you the fuck out.
Yeah, like, I mean, there was
you
even,
know what I mean?
like, in this game or whatever, and they also, because, like, they'd have jump scares, but they weren't always cheap. In fact, a lot of times you could tell they were coming, but they had important parts to them, you know?
Well, but that's what I like about James Wan as a director. His jump scares are actually something to be scared of. It's not a cat coming out of a closet.
Yeah.
It's not a friend being, it's not that asshole being like, hey!
Yeah.
You know, it's
well, like, I had, like, God, because I'm in the second level at this point or whatever, and I keep having anxiety to go back and play it when it's dark in my room or whatever. But, like, there's this whole bit where I guess, oh, it's so weird. I guess you're having to go through, like, you get, to summarize as quick as I can, you get, like, 3 different brains of the past, the present, and the future. And apparently you have to go to the mirror. At one point, you have to take the knife, apparently just cut your skull open, I guess, and just take out your brain, put a different one in. And then, boom, now you're in the past, the present, or the future.
Well, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, but they don't say brain, they say mind, because it's supposed to be your mind. That's the whole point here.
Yeah.
But it's, like, just really weird. But at one point, you're doing, like, your past brain, and I guess you have some kind of trauma from, like, from what I've put together, it's like you have some trauma that, like, some guy like murdered everyone at your birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're the only survivor, I guess. And but at one point you go to the past and you go to another, and you have birthday decorations around. You go, and I guess it's your parents, but they look really creepy because they're just fucking staring at you with smiles on their faces. And when you tap on them, they'll just say in like their very robotic, repetitive voices, like just like the first thing was like the instruction of like, can you get the decorations together, please? And you're just like, please stop. Like, I don't know.
No, okay, exactly. That's like Uncanny Valley. Like Uncanny Valley like freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, well, like, okay, but here's the thing, because you at one point they say like, has the magician arrived or something like that. So you have to go to the door, and you have to do this because they introduced this mechanic in the first chapter. You have to look through the keyhole on the door because it's locked. The first time there was a jump scare because you see the lady, you tap it again, and then the lady's eye is suddenly right in front of the keyhole. But you have to see that because it gives you something to do with a clock hand, which I will say, the puzzles in this, like, they are not hard to understand, but they are unique. You know, they're not like very typical puzzles. Anyway, but like, so you're doing it second chapter and they say like, has he arrived? And you're like, oh no. You're like, oh no. So you go to the keyhole and you look, and of course he jump scares you again. But then apparently you have to go through like 6 or 7 iterations of you having to find him throughout the room, and him basically popping out and scaring you with his creepy fucking rabbit mask. And you're like, and to see, like, but if you're confused on where he is, because some of them are really obvious, but then some of them aren't. So you just go to your parents and they give you hints. And I love that the last hint you get is look behind you, and you're like, stop that. Cease.
Yes. No. But no, it's like, okay, perfect example. Another horror movie that's on my top 10 is, it's The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Mm-hmm.
It's a found footage movie. Now, I like found footage movies when they are done right. And in The Taking of Deborah Logan, it was done very realistic, and it was something I liked a lot. So, the basic gist of the movie is that there's this documentary crew showing up to a house, and they're documenting what Alzheimer's does to the person with Alzheimer's and the family involved. Now, I actually had to go through that. My grandmother had Alzheimer's. It was very bad. Mm-hmm. And so the way they did Alzheimer's was very realistic. It was really good. It wasn't done in like you know when you see people who don't know what they're doing and they'll like say they did research, but you're like, that's not how it really is.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is really realistic. And so some weird stuff starts happening, but it's done to where throughout the whole movie, you're like, wait a minute, is something supernatural going on? Or is this just Alzheimer's? And when things start hitting the fan, like, a camera guy fucking quits in the movie, and he, like, full on drops the camera and leaves, and they're just like, he just left, and for the rest of the movie, the guy's gone. And I'm like, wow, for once a found footage movie where the guy made sense. Like, and that's not spoiling anything, because again, they still don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's paranormal or that, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's done, and the writing is done so well that you don't know the difference until literally the end of the movie. Because there's a lot of times in movies where they'll give you the hints, but then they'll do the like really early on, they'll do the handholdies of like explaining what's going on. It's like, okay, now the mystery's kind of gone. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's kind of creepy in not knowing what it is. Another movie I liked until the ending was I liked Hell House LLC, first one, not the second one. But the very, very end is very cliche, like horror movie. Like, it was doing so well, and they just had to go with that cliche. And another good movie is, fuck, what was it called? Trying to think. Fuck. Okay, well, I can't think. But another good horror game talking about horror games, is I liked Layers of Fear. A lot of people shat on it. I liked Layers of Fear for the story and the atmosphere. But again, it's one of those things where people are looking too deep into it, where they're like, oh my god, why is this guy's house doing this? And I'm like, he's going crazy. It's kind of implied that the guy's going nuts in his house, which is why all of this is happening. Yeah. But no, you're looking at the why is a demon baby doll suddenly alive, and it's like he's going insane. This isn't actually happening.
Yeah, I like I've always liked just really, and I like the kind of horror as well where it's like I like the kinds of ones that can scare you without needing to create some kind of monster. You know, like things that just, I mean, hell, there's actually a game that it is a good horror game by itself, but there's like a whole part of it that I feel like is could make a whole good horror game by itself. But like Until Dawn is a really good horror game.
I love Until Dawn.
Yeah, because it comes off with the vibe of that's gonna be cheesy, but yet you play and it starts to get really real. And like a lot of the times, while there's still the really cheesy tropes, it's like you still like the characters don't have unrealistic reactions to things.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, shoot, the way they wrote like Josh was actually really well done, because I mean, obviously at first when you find out the whole plot twist or whatever, you hate the guy. Like, how could you not? Like, he basically like traumatized everyone, whatever. But then you find out his deeper damage, and you're like, wow, like, hot damn.
This makes a lot of sense.
And like, it's the whole plot twist of, well, is that like during the little cutscene sort of things that like the reason why that was there was because, and it also adds the ambiguity of you don't know if that's really real things he's having or if that's just another schizophrenic like imagination he's having, like his battle with sanity. And then like just the whole bit where you have to play him and you have him like have a really bad case of like schizophrenia, you know, and like the walls moving, and I felt like that's a brilliant portrayal of actual like schizophrenia, rather than just saying, oh, you hear voices. Like, you know, it's like you
hear voices or you see colors and stuff. Like, that's not what it is.
And like that kind of thing, I mean, that could be a whole horror game in itself, is just following someone who's having really bad schizophrenia, you know.
Well, I mean, okay, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that is a game.
I'm sure it is.
I do want to play it. I hear it's like Stevia Hellblade or something, but it's about like a Viking lady having to go to hell, and she apparently has schizophrenia on top of it.
Fun.
And a lot of people are saying that like it's a really good game. It's a short game, but it's really good. And I'm like, okay, I want to try it out.
I know. I like. So I do like a lot of the sort of stuff as well, because I mean, there's also that, because again, another thing that I feel like Until Dawn did really good with was it had technically two plot lines that were happening. Because for a while you think there's one enemy that you're fighting, and then you find out that a lot of the scary shit that happened was actually staged and wasn't actually intentional, but then you find out, oh shit, there really are monsters.
Yeah. And I liked that it was a monster that exists in folklore, but it wasn't the cliche like demon or ghost. Like, it was a monster.
Yeah, and they even had the whole plot twist with the like spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it, but they had the plot twist of like one of the monsters that chases you is actually like pivotal to the story. Mm-hmm. And I still to this day am so sad that Josh could never have a happy ending in that game.
I know, it makes me so.
I mean, it makes me sad because his ending makes like the quote unquote good ending for him makes sense. And I hate it.
Sad.
I know, but it's still so sad. And also, I will say this. I really do like that by the end of the game, it's not like a happy ever after kind of thing, that you can see that all the characters had like...
They all have issues now. Like,
yeah,
all of them have.
Especially like when you hear it, like you can tell that like not Chris. Fuck, why am I blanking on his name?
What's he look
Chris,
like?
the one that's supposed to be the hot guy.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. That's who it is. Like, Matt, he was at the originally, like, you just thought he was the douche. And then by the end of it, like, you're a fucking badass. like, because that guy, like, there's a whole ending where he can lose his fingers and shit. And it's like, he made a wolf friend. like,
I love
Oh, Mike. That's his name. Mike. Not Matt.
Mike. No, who was Matt? There is a Matt.
Matt is the other guy who was
That was the boyfriend.
That was Ashley's second boyfriend who
yeah, no, you're right.
who deserves much better.
God, but I love that the only way to have Mike survive is if he doesn't put up with his girlfriend's shit. Like, it sounds bad because I remember being like, when I first played.
Oh yeah.
When I played Mike, I'm like, okay, he's
or Matt. No, you're thinking of Matt.
Yeah, no, Matt. You're right.
Yeah.
Matt. When you play the good guy, I'm like, okay, he save her after finding all this fucked up shit.
Yeah, and like then you die because you tried to save her.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And then people, like, all my friends are like, yeah, no, you have to be an asshole.
Which isn't an odd way. It's actually an oddly good lesson in a horror game.
It is. Oh my god.
Because it's basically saying don't put up with your abusive bitch of a girlfriend.
Who also cheated on you.
Yeah, who like also made out with somebody. Oh god. And then I almost felt bad for gosh, shoot, I can't remember any of their names. But you know, the one girl who like
it's been so long.
I know it has. But like the one girl who Mike was dating, who's supposed to be stereotypical blonde hot chick, you know?
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me look.
But like you think she's dead for most of the game, but like by the end of it, you feel bad for her because she clearly went through some shit. Mm-hmm. And she's just real Jessica. Yeah, it's like Sam, Jessica, Mike, Ashley, Chris, Matt,
Emily,
yeah, and I think that's about it.
And then
there's the two sisters, and then there's Josh.
Yeah.
Jessica's such a good girl, though. I know. It's like, because, I mean, there's the thing, too, that, like, what I also like is that they did write them as teenagers, you know?
Well, yeah, but, like, that was the thing, too, is, like, they wrote them as stereotypical horror teenagers. Like, that was the joke.
They all had tropes. They never really technically lost their tropes, but, like, they went through actual character development.
And I love, too, like, again, if you save everybody and you survive and you like actually sit and watch the police thing, like they're all fucked up and traumatized from it.
Like,
so they're like happy.
Like Sam gets kind of scary because she's just like they're not believing her and she's just shaking her head like you go down there, you go look.
Yeah, and then you find Josh.
You cry. But like it was a good game and it had a lot of
I hear there's rumors that they're making a second one.
Ooh,
but it's I hate to be this, but like I'm a gamer, but I'm not like a hardcore gamer. You know what I mean? So I've heard the rumor is, which is what I hope it is, but a lot of people fucking shitting on it, is that it would be a whole new cast, a whole new story, a whole new thing in a different part of the world.
I would much rather prefer that.
And I'm like, yes, but a lot of people are like, but what about the? I'm like, no. Their story's done.
Let them have their story.
Leave them alone. It's why I'm also excited for Layers of Fear 2, is because they just announced they're making a second one, but instead of a tortured artist, it's gonna be a tortured actor. And I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting.
I know. I like stuff like that where it's like it's the same idea, but it's a different thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Also, just now that we're talking about video games, there's one that I saw recently, because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't typically, there are video games I really do love, but I will be honest, I don't typically play them. I usually watch Let's Plays, which I know some people have a huge gripe where it's like, you can't say you like the game unless you play it or whatever.
I think it's BS, but
I know, I think that's stupid because like, no, I can still appreciate a game for what it is.
Especially if it's like, I'm sorry, I hate to be this person. Because I don't game a lot, I just don't have a lot of time like I used to. Mm-hmm. I would rather watch a Let's Play, see if it's something I like, not finish the Let's Play, and then buy the game myself, than, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts. Spend $60 for a game that isn't done, and then you announce in a fucking gaming magazine that like, oh, all the plot holes we didn't finish, yeah, we're releasing paid DLC. I'm like, then bitch, why'd I pay the $60 game?
Yeah, and it's like
I waited 13. Yeah,
and for me, it's like I just unfortunately, if I ever start, I'm not gonna like finish it. So you know,
Sky, that was me with Final Fantasy.
Fuck you, Square. And I'll be honest, like for some things I like watching people, and also sometimes it can be fun to watch someone else do it because it feels a little bit more engaging sometimes. There are some games though I like watching them without any commentary. Like Life is Strange. Watch that gameplay with no commentary.
Oh god, or the
Until Dawn. Well, that's a both thing, but listen. Whenever I rewatch Until Dawn, it's always Markiplier's Let's Plays of it because it's just so funny. Because there's
I love his and Jack's, yeah.
Yeah, listen, just the entire bit where he gets Ashley killed because of his stupidity, and so he goes back and replays the entire game just because she died, and just because he wanted Chris and like Emily to end up together is just so funny to me. I can't not.
I'll agree. But
but
one that I watched that I love the series, but I just don't have the patience is I love the Five Nights at Freddy's games.
Me too. I do too.
I love the series. I tried playing it once. I hated playing it. I'm sorry. I loved watching the Let's Play. I love the lore. I love all of it. I do not have the patience to play that game. I'm just someone who I don't want to. Again, it's like horror movies. I don't ever want to play a horror game, but I don't mind watching people play it. Mm-hmm. Although I will say I probably have a little bit of a bias because I don't typically like the horror games, like a lot of the big named horror games. Like I'm gonna be real. Some people disagree with me. I hate horror games where they give you a gun. No, I agree with that. Like, no, it's like people try to debate me that they're like, BioShock's a horror game, and I'm like, it is. It's an action game. It's a dark game, but to me, the first Dead Space freaked me out, even though it had a gun. Second one was good, didn't spook me, only because this scene is like ingrained in my mind because this scene literally fucked me up, and I couldn't play the first one for a long time. It's before you know what's happening with the station, so you don't know what's going on, and this is when the game just came out, so like no one knew what the things were. So you play the game, and you hear this like really quietly in this apparently abandoned station. Mm-hmm. And you turn a corner, and there's a dude just banging his head into a wall until he dies. And I remember being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like
it was just a normal guy. There was nothing making him do it. But that was like the first instance, and it freaked me the fuck out so much. It was so unsettling.
Yeah,
but then I played the second one, and I'm like, I got a rocket launcher on. Let's go kill some freaking zombie aliens.
Yeah, like I just it's always just I guess I can get like when you're actually playing it, I guess I can get like the adrenaline rush of it, you know? But at the same time, I just personally with a lot of games that are like horror games with a gun, it's just not really my cup of tea. I mean, I will say, oh god, I can't remember the name of it. Was it Resident Evil? I don't think it was Resident Evil.
What happened to it? I might know.
It was like, it was technically the one I watched. It was a recent telling of it. So technically it was a sequel, but like, it was enough on its own that I could kind of enjoy it without knowing the whole series. But like, this one was that you are trying to find your wife, and so you go somewhere, but you wake up and you're suddenly like basically kidnapped in this family of people being controlled by a creepy fungus or whatever. So they're technically zombies.
That sounds really familiar.
I cannot remember the name of it right now for the life of me.
Like, that sounds really, really
If someone thinks about it, tell me. But like, I like that one because while there was combat to it, and while sometimes you could have a gun, it wasn't the main focus of the game. And like, there's a whole Resident Evil. Is it Resident Evil 7?
Was it Resident 7? Cody's playing Resident Evil 7. Wait, maybe were you a girl or a guy?
You're a guy, I'm pretty sure. Or I think it switches perspectives sometimes.
Okay, because Leon isn't looking for his family.
I don't think it's The Last of Us.
No, because The Last of Us has Ellie in it.
I can't remember. See, that's part of my issue with some of these games is that they can get really forgettable sometimes because they can kind of blur together a little bit.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. No, not Outlast, because Outlast isn't a fungus.
I don't remember.
I gotta Google this now. It's gonna bother me because it sounds like.
Hang on, let me look up Resident Evil 7. Maybe it is.
Horror game with fungus.
I don't. Hang on, let me look.
Wait. Was it maybe it was Resident Evil. It was the not.
Yeah,
7.
It was Resident Evil 7. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I see it because I'm seeing the picture of the whole family at the table with the grandma and all that. Because that had a cool little twist to it and all that stuff. Yeah.
Cody's playing the remake. No, you're right. Okay, my bad. Cody's playing. You were right. It was Resident.
Yeah. Okay.
You were right.
So I like that. Like there would be instances where you'd have to fight, but it wasn't the main part of it. So there'd still be things that would get you. And like for example, when you're fighting the dad and you're in a flipping garage. And,
oh my god, that scene.
And like it's so intense. Like, you know, he's trying to flipping kill you with a car. It's intense.
It is. And that the fucking wife boss fight is disgusting.
It's so creepy.
It's so disgusting.
And also like everything building up to it, like I will say this, whoever flipping voice acted those characters, those people like went all out with it. Mm-hmm. 'Cause he like especially like with that like mother, like it make like hearing her dialogue physically makes you uncomfortable and like makes you really tense of how like she screams at you. Mm-hmm. And like I obviously that's the point, so that's why I think it's a good job. But anyway, so like I just don't like games that are super like you constantly have a gun, you're just walking around with a gun killing things, and it gets just I don't know, it doesn't feel as like, horror for me.
I feel like there's a catalyst to it. Like, you need two things. I feel like, because the problem with Outlast was, the first one made sense for you not having a weapon because you're in an insane asylum. You're not going to find weapons in a fucking insane asylum. But in the second one, there's this guy running around, you're literally out in the open, I'm seeing pitchforks and guns. You're going to grab one of those things in real life. Just honestly. Yeah. So I feel like when you're doing a horror game, to do it right, would be to do it the Resident Evil way, where, like you said, where it's there, but you're so limited on ammo, and you can't, like, you don't really have a store or something, so it's like you have to think about everything you have.
Yeah. Like, also there's a mini game in Resident Evil 7 that I really like because it's so... Oh, it's just so intense. It's like a different kind of fear that it stresses you out with. It, like, preys on the fear of having, like, your mom run upstairs and catch you doing something you shouldn't be. It's the one mini game where it's like you're technically playing a guy who's already dead. So it's technically in the past, but he was like kidnapped by the family or whatever. So one of the things that ends up happening is that he's been locked into a bed. Like one of his hands is locked in a bolt basically. And the mom comes in and she's like, here, I brought you food. But it's like gross and it's like bugs and she's trying to make you eat it so you get infected, you know?
Yeah.
But you have to basically try and escape the room. But whenever you make any kind of noise, she will start to come back and check on you. So whenever that happens, you have to put everything back where it belongs and get back in bed and seal your hand back up again so she doesn't catch you or she'll kill you.
Oh, I think I did see that minigame.
Yeah, it's just really intense because it stresses you out. Like, do I have everything in place? Like, do you have whatever? And it's just really smart, and it kind of plays on that stress of you being a kid, like having to hide your game from your mom when she comes upstairs to check on you or whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyway, oh yeah, we were talking about something. Yeah, like I like Five Nights at Freddy's, and like I'm gonna be real. It blows my mind when people say that like, oh, all Five Nights at Freddy's games are exactly the same. Like, have you actually played them? Like, that's what all I can say, because none of them are exactly the same.
Well, what I think is funny is, because I know I'll agree with that. What bothers me is a lot of people are pissed off that it's not like a fully animated fucking AAA horror game, where it's like everything. I'm like, guys, for the first 3 games, it was a dude. dude making these games, and he was pumping them out like a year apart. So like,
and like
I wasn't too surprised that there wasn't a lot of complex stuff to it.
Yeah.
But he did change it up in every game. I mean, fuck. In the second one, you
suddenly don't have doors anymore.
Yeah, you don't have doors anymore. You had the flashlight, I believe. Was the flashlight introduced?
Yeah, it was the flashlight.
The second one?
You had to do a whole music box thing.
Yes, the music box was involved. And then in the third one, you're in a fucking horror house.
Yeah, and in that one, like, it doesn't matter if, like, I swear to God, the thing was with the third one, I could never just sit down and watch that video, because even if somebody else was playing it, it'd make me so stressed. Like,
no, me and Cody were the same.
Because the atmosphere was so, and also because what's kind of terrifying about that is that, like, once he's there, like, once he is within your line of sight, you are dead. Like, you have lost.
Yeah. And what freaks me out, too, compared to the other ones, is he'll just stare at you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He'll just be there.
Well, he had, like definitely the most gory, like, design out of all the other games. And I will say, like, each game also kind of had their own aesthetic, too, just a little bit.
It really did. And isn't it... Am I right to remember... I don't remember if the second one had this, but in the third one, that was when you got the minigame, right? Mm-hmm. Where you got minigame, so you see what happened to Springtrap, and I don't know, the little animated pixel sprite just twitching out and bleeding was so much more unsettling than if I saw like a guy in a saw trap doing it. Just the sprite doing it, because you're like, oh, that was a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's like what's also interesting, and then like Sister Location was a whole.
Real quick.
Oh, what? Oh. I'll just tell you guys. And then Sister Location was like a whole new ballpark of everything. Like, it was no longer about. I mean, technically the ending of that game is, but like the actual basic part of it was just pretty super drastically different.
Okay, I'm back. What?
Hello. I was just saying that, like, and then you get to, like, Sister Location. Like, that was an entirely different game at that point. I mean, the ending technically was, but...
Same with the fourth one. I mean, you're running around. Yeah, it's a bedroom, but you're actually moving around.
Yeah, and there's, like, a different aspect of you having to listen. You can't just check and see if they're there. Like, there's no cameras anymore. And then, like, there's technically some of them had different rules and all that, and, like... And honestly, I know some people, they think he's totally like that, like, he's just trying to get money at this point. Like, I don't know. Considering that he made like an ultimate, like the whole ultimate custom night thing, like that seems like a man who's just having some fun.
Well, he did that, and also, I mean, he made that whole RPG one for free. Like
and that was just for basically like shits and giggles. Like,
well, and when you fight him, you fight the Scott Coffin as the final boss. And I'm like, that's just a dude having fun. Let the dude have fun. Like, okay, I read the Five Nights at Freddy's books. Oh. They're a hot mess. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, have you read the books?
No.
Okay, so they're not bad. They're just really fucking weird. And like, I have guilty pleasures, okay? This was just weird because there's like, I've only read the first two, but there's a scene in the first one where this character's scared of an animatronic, and their dad just comes out and starts petting his face in front of the kid, and is like, he's our friend. It's okay. And I'm just like, what? Like, it was written to be creepy, but in the context of the scene, it was more of a, like, what the fuck moment? And not like a scary what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
Just like a what the fuck moment. Like, what?
Yeah, and I like, and, it's just, yeah, so I like I personally do like the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I would never, like, play them myself, but I like them just as a concept, and I think they're, like, I think they're interesting, and, like, Jesus Christ, the Ultimate Custom Night was just beautiful.
fucking Mark died. He died. Because we liked watching Mark play Five Nights at Freddy's. That's how we found out.
I know.
About it.
Well, like, I mean, even Scott said, like, I just made this. I don't know if it's beatable. Like, just good luck. And also just the flipping dialogue the characters had whenever you died. Mr. Hippo is a masterpiece. It's so fucking funny. Like, God, I love that so much. And I think technically the stories like he tell actually have some kind of like symbolism to like the main point of the game. Because I mean, one of his stories he goes into a whole thing where he's saying like, "What's the point of your story?" And he's just like, "Well, I told him, does a story have to have a point? Like, does it need to have like a lesson at the end of it? Does it need to have a actual point or whatever?" And he's like, "Well, anyway, like." So, and it's just the whole thing. It's just he's talking about like, so we got like the ducks some rye bread or whatever. Like, did you know that like elephants don't like rye bread? Or I don't know what he's saying, but you know, it's just so stupid and I love it. Anyway, but yeah. So there's there's definitely some good horror games out there, and I tend to actually like the horror games that are a little bit more on the stylized side, but that could just be me. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a good series called Deep Sleep or whatever. It's really good. There's the, like, Bad Dream series is really good.
What was it? There was one. It's not really a horror movie, but it's an unsettling game. And it was, okay, I forget what it's called. But you're this pregnant lady going back to your house, and it's what I said, like, Dimitri's, like, puzzle house would be inspired by.
Yeah.
Because, like, she goes to her house to, like, get something, and you're, like, finding out that there's, like, this curse on her family where, like, everyone in the family dies in, like, really weird ways, and when you, like, go through their rooms, which have, like, murals of them, you, like, have, like, weird stylistic, like, flashbacks of how they died, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so mad I can't think of the name of it. Yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch. That was
I was gonna say that sounded familiar.
I was like, it was such a, and like that whole game it's technically it's not a horror game. It's not a horror game, but like going through it, you're unsettled. You're not like. Well,
it's like I know like two of the parts I remember most from it is the one thing I think it's with your brother. I think, and it's like your brother's working in a factory or whatever.
Oh god, that one was so upsetting.
Yeah, that one was so dark and it's just so sad. Or like the one that, I think that one's supposed to be either your father or your grandfather. But he, like he's in a bunker or whatever and he thinks that like the apocalypse is happening and then you leave the bunker and it's just a train.
Well, no, you know what's even sadder? Okay, so... Because when I watched all of it in one go.
Right.
And what really messed me up was he was the little brother that was there when his older sister, the movie star, got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the only one that was there and wouldn't talk about what happened. You know she got murdered, but he wouldn't talk about it. And so people are saying the reason why he became a mole person was because of the traumatization that happened with what he witnessed at a young age.
Quiet.
And so, yeah, like, and it's so sad because you're, like, going through his routine, and it's, like, so methodical, his routine, to where you just see the calendar drastically aging, and then, like, it's so sad. The day he, like, finally leaves, yeah, he gets hit by a train.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that one messed me up. The brother one fucked me up, too, because it's, like, the second, like, his dreams started going into reality, I'm like, oh, I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but you keep playing it, and it's,
Yeah, I mean, while we're just talking about, like, generally good games, one I saw recently that was really good was, it also just had a very interesting sort of mechanic of it, was the, A Way Out.
A Way Out. Oh, yeah!
Yeah, that one hit me in the feels.
The joys of Crackland. This isn't Crackland, this is just games.
Yeah, no, has nothing to do with Crackland.
Oh my god, but okay, so, you know how much of a Bioshock fan I am.
Right.
I don't hide it. But it took me years to play the Bioshock 2 DLC. Because DLC back in those days were a lot harder to get. I could never get it. So I didn't get to play the DLC for Bioshock 2 until I got the collector's edition for my birthday about 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And so, like, all my friends talked about it, and since Biocock is my life, it's tattooed on my skin, I didn't want to watch a Let's Play of it. I wanted to play it, and so I played it, and it's called Minerva's Den. And oh my god, the writing is so good in that one for a DLC. Because you play as this Big Daddy who is going through Minerva's Den, and you're trying to find this guy named Milton Porter. Mm-hmm. And you're like finding all this stuff, and you're going through all of this, and you're getting to the end, and pretty much you're trying to get the hell out of Rapture, because at that point, Rapture's been hell for like 15 years, I think. But you get to the end of the game with Milton helping you throughout the whole thing, and then you find out that you are Milton.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I spoiled it, but you're like, because Milton made this computer that like was able to be him pretty much, and so he knew what was going to happen to him because of this like jealous guy. And when you become a Big Daddy, you kind of lose yourself. So you're just like, you play all of this, and you're learning so much about Milton's life and how much it kind of sucks. And then it's like, oh wait, you're him. Oh, I'm so sad now. It's so good, but I'm so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can be Crackland if you try hard enough. I mean, that's not wrong. But it's so good. It's such a good one. Minerva's Den is such a good DLC. I love it so much.
There's some good games out there.
Yeah.
I might go in a minute just cause.
That's fine. I was gonna say I'm probably gonna lay down. My back hurts.
We're almost at 2 hours, so we'll give it like 4 more minutes. Because we got almost 2 hours.
Oh yeah! I made my step count today, even though my heel exploded. So.
Yay.
So yeah, any questions? Any other things we want to hear our opinions on? Just dicking around.
Or 4 minutes. Now 3 minutes.
4 minutes. Oh.
We're running out of time.
Well. Oh. Why don't you talk about the D&D thing you're planning? Like you can.
We already talked about it though in like the last stream we had.
Oh right.
We talked about it pretty in depth.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. Well. Oh shit! Opinion on the deeper lore of Adventure Time.
I've never watched Adventure Time in my life, so
I've literally only watched the like hyped episodes. I didn't watch the show entirely.
I've watched maybe one of them casually because it was playing in a hotel room and nothing better was on, but like I've never actually watched the show in full.
Snakes are good meat noodles. Be nice to snakes.
Be nice to the meat noodles.
Be nice to meat noodles. They just do.
Snakes.
Not watching it is better. I envy you. Like I said, I watched when like everybody was hyping it up. I watched like those episodes, but I tried watching Adventure Time as like normal, and I'm like, I don't like this show. I'm creating my own Crackland. Sometimes my brain like ended up today or DA4 chapters deep at DA. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun. I mean, anyone can have a Crackland. We don't own Crackland. It's just
we just call it that because that's what it is.
I could not even think of a title. Like, what would we title it? It's
well, like you called it Crackland, and I was like, yeah, sounds about right.
Because it was like it's a crack RP. Because that's what it is.
Yeah, it's crack kids, crack ships, all that good stuff.
But not crack drugs.
Yeah, not indeed. I'm sure some people think some of the ideas we come up with, we had to come up on with crack.
Yay! This person's like, I can finally say that I have officially stayed for an entire Zodiac stream. Well, yay! Thank you, Ryan Toast. I like your username. I have been chosen. My cat is putting his paw on me and not letting my finger go.
Dun, 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 dun. See, those situations you can't move.
Yep.
You're not allowed.
Yep. Not allowed.
It's banned.
But yeah, eventually we're gonna have to find a day to
Yeah.
first we're gonna have to find that stream that we did to the Crackland recap.
I don't remember where we stopped.
Find out where we left off, write that down, and be like, okay, now we can pick it up, and that'll be just its own stream, its own, just recapping Crackland Part 2.
There we go. Just I don't even think we'd end up getting to like current day with that point.
Oh, I don't think so either.
Because like I
think everybody was still kids. First.
Oh, yeah. We were still on like first generation at that point.
Yeah, because I remember Gabe was born. Gabe was born because we talked about Tybalt and his wifey's wedding.
Yeah, well, we talked about the fact that was basically the point. We decided it was no longer just crossover episode.
Yeah, no. Now we're like, oh no, we're deep. We're in too deep now.
All right, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming, guys.
Bye.
Bye.